Hello, everybody. Welcome to another episode of the 814 Sports Report. That's Logan Lepiscopo. I'm, of course, Sohl. Logan. 10 episodes already. Time flying by. We're going through all the seasons of the sports already.
It's wild to think that we're already about to be right back into talking the NFL.
I'm getting excited,
crazy,
man. Well, we'll start off with the NFL today because at the time you're hearing this, it may be official, but we got reports Thursday that it looks like the Pittsburgh Steelers will have their signal caller back. Aaron Rodgers expected to sign, and of course, everything involving Aaron Rodgers, you don't know until the very last minute.
Yep.
But Logan, let's get into this a little bit. Curious your thoughts on this and what it means for the black and gold moving forward.
Yeah, well, with watching them last year, I think Rodgers was solid. Obviously, you're not going to get that four-time MVP Aaron Rodgers back in at quarterback, but I think they were kind of in a position where it's him or we accept the fact we're going to have a bad season. Maybe Rodgers takes you from 8 wins to 10 wins. I don't think he's going to skyrocket this roster like a 13-win team looking at a first-round bye. But we'll see. Like you said, it's always last minute with this guy. He's probably out in the middle of nowhere right now
doing his
some
meditation in his fully blacked-out room.
But I'm intrigued what fans think. I think they're pretty torn because I know people dread last year him coming in. So I feel like that same group is either on the same side of why are we bringing him back?
Well, to me, it's very simple, right? No disrespect to Drew Aller and Will Howard, but unproven guys, right?
Yeah.
A third and a sixth-round pick. And, you know, as we've said time and time again, you don't get Tom Brady's and Brock Purdy's falling out of the tree, right? Those guys don't really come around very often, those late-round guys who tend to flourish. And John Leidick and I are going to speak about it on the Sunday Sports Blitz. But this just feels like the Pittsburgh Steelers, Pittsburgh Penguins, very similar, just refusing to put the past away, and they don't want to move on to this next era. And honestly, this move for the Steelers makes sense. I mean, look at their offseason. They went into this offseason looking to improve, right? We bring in Rico Dowdle, you bring in Michael Pittman. This is a team that just won't accept subpar play. And if you're going to be competitive, Rodgers is your guy.
Yeah.
And saw earlier on X, a popular Pittsburgh tweeter, Andrew Filipponi, talking, what we need to see the kids. Like, you need to see what's coming forward because maybe Drew Aller could turn into something.
Yeah.
Maybe Will Howard could turn into something. But if Rodgers is there, he's the starter. And it's just, in a year, especially when the 2027 NFL draft, Logan, as we know, is absolutely loaded with quarterback play. If there's a year to stink in the NFL, it's this upcoming year.
Yeah, and I think it's an interesting point. Like, yes, Rodgers will start, but it's kind of like the Ty Simpson pick for the Rams. Like, you have a year for Will Howard, a second year for Will Howard, but a year for Drew Aller if you think he's the guy to sit behind one of the best to ever do it. Like, not even during our time frame, like during the span of 100 years
of the
in the
National
NFL.
Football League, Aaron Rodgers, one of the best ever.
And I think it was inevitable for him to come back because, like you said, what they did in the offseason. You had Michael Pittman Jr. You go in and draft Jeremy Bernard out of Alabama. You load up on your offensive line, drafting a tackle and a guard in the draft. I think that this team is going to be competitive. I'm intrigued to see how the defensive side of the ball pans out because we saw a few times last year, Rodgers put together excellent games. The defense that was so highly paid and touted just couldn't stop anything. So I'm intrigued to see, like you mentioned, not ready to let go of those players like T.J. Watt, Cam Hayward, Jalen Ramsey. How much of those guys have left in the tank still? And even a couple other guys they added on the defensive side of the ball during the offseason. But it's just always a saga with this guy. I'm waiting for when it's Jordan Love's turn. I mean, it's when Favre, it's gone Rodgers. Like, I feel like Jordan Love's now inevitable to go on this whatever spree of, I don't want to do this, I want to do this.
It's going to be interesting. Now, something that we haven't really talked about is how much more excited, maybe, can you phrase it, that now you have Mike McCarthy at the helm, somebody who's, I would say, pretty familiar with Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah.
I'm wondering, should that create a little bit more excitement because they have so much pre-existing chemistry?
Yeah, I mean, I think that it should, considering he wants to come back. Some guys, they played for a head coach and they're like, I never want to play for that guy again. So I think that's a very positive sign that if it is real that he is back and signing, obviously we're recording this Thursday night, so we don't know what Friday, Saturday, Sunday, when you're seeing this, we have no idea. He could be a Steeler for all you know while you're listening to this. But I think to have reports he's even considering coming back to sign a contract shows that their relationship was not torn up in Green Bay. Like, McCarthy left to Dallas on a good note. Rodgers is like, man, I'm going to miss that guy. To have a chance to come back one more year and play for him, I think that's definitely a positive. It just depends if McCarthy's offense is outdated by now or not. He's only been out of coaching for 2 years, but is the offense Rodgers knew with McCarthy outdated?
Well, I guess we'll see. But he definitely does have some weapons. But John and I were talking about it. The AFC is still going to be competitive. Like,
yeah.
I've been a Chiefs hater now for the past couple of months, but they're going to be better. You're going to have Patrick Mahomes back, Kelsey back. Obviously, you get Kenneth Walker. I mean, how many teams in the AFC can you definitively say the Steelers are going to be better than? Like, the Bengals, they were aggressive. They took Dexter Lawrence from my Giants. The Baltimore Ravens, I expect to be much better.
Yep.
Their division's going to be tough. Maybe even the Cleveland Browns take a jump. I mean, I would say, had a great NFL draft, great NFL free agency. The AFC had a pretty good offseason, and Pittsburgh is just I don't want to say mediocre because they continue to stack up these winning seasons, but it's tough for me to sit here and be like, this is a team that is going to be a playoff threat. They'll be a threat to get into the playoffs.
Yep.
They're in that frisky middle.
As always, they get in, and then they'll lose in the first round.
I mean, maybe things will change, and I do think it's fair to say Rodgers had a good year last year. He was a solid player for them, but it's tough to not be excited about the kids coming up enough that you have to re-sign a 40-plus-year-old Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah, like the AFC said, it's not getting any easier to play in that division. Obviously, he spent his whole time in NFC, except for his time with the Jets, which was a time to say the least. But you mentioned the North. Like, I'm not even concerned about the rest of the conference. Can you get into the playoffs out of the North? Like you said.
Took a miracle last year.
Yeah, it took a miracle last year. Baltimore will be better despite all of the players that they lost. Cincinnati is going to be way better. If Joe Burrow stays healthy, I think they win the North this year. With the additions that they made on defense, that should be a huge help to them. And then Cleveland. I mean, Cleveland's a wild card. Like, they could win 2 games and have the number 1 pick next year. Maybe they win 7 or 8 because of how good the defense is. And if reports are true about Deshaun Watson, if he's a solid starter, like, if he is solid, an average
game
starter,
manager, that defense is so elite.
Yes.
All he has to do is not turn the ball over and be competent now with his new wide receiver.
You will win 8 or 9 games with competent quarterback play from Deshaun Watson. I'm not asking for 2018 pre-massage Deshaun Watson. I'm not asking for all that.
That would be something.
I'm just asking him to go out on the field, complete passes to his team. That's all you have to do, because Myles Garrett's going to wreak havoc on defenses. You've got an incredible secondary there. They just added up with a safety, Emmanuel McNeil-Warren. You got Denzel Ward, who's obviously tailing off. He's hitting 30 now, but yeah,
that's crazy. It's 30.
Yeah, I know.
Oh my gosh.
If they get
We're
average,
getting old. Me and Logan are getting old.
I was thinking about that the other day. Josh Allen's about to go into his 9th season.
We're also older than half the guys getting drafted. That's how you know
That's also crazy to think that guys drafted number 1 overall are younger than us.
Yeah, that's pretty crazy. But speaking of youth, the Buffalo Sabres, Logan, I was there on Wednesday. An electric atmosphere. They stay hot. They beat the Canadiens in round 1. In game 1 of round 2. Game 2 will be Friday. Exciting stuff in Buffalo, man. Like, they are not just winning. They look like a true contender on the ice right now.
Like, when they started that build-up in December, they just kept stringing wins together. I'm like, all right, maybe it's just a nice little
They've had these streaks before. They've had hot spurts, but nothing like this we've seen.
They go from laughing stock of the NHL, like, oh, drafts in Buffalo, they're going to have the first pick in the draft in their city. And now look at them.
They're not even in the draft lottery. They're not going to pick until the tail end of that first round. But
you were there, though.
You
were there. You were there for some of the first round games. You're big into just the sport of hockey. What has been doing it for him? Is it just how young they are? They're out skating guys? Like, what is it?
This Buffalo team, Logan, is one of the most hardworking teams in the NHL right now. The way that they forecheck and force turnovers, like, I wouldn't say they have a true game-breaking superstar. They have elite players. Don't get me wrong. I think Rasmus Dahlin should win the Norris Trophy for the NHL's best defenseman this year. He has been incredible. We know what Tage Thompson's been able to do, a gold medalist, but they got guys like Zach Benson. That kid is a dog. Zach Benson is one of my favorite players to watch in the NHL. He's undersized, and if you know anything about the NHL, you know Brad Marchand and what a pest he was for the Boston Bruins, and continues to be at 37 years old, getting in people's faces, spitting on people, and scoring beautiful goals. And that's what Zach Benson's doing right now. Lindy Ruff has this team playing at an elite level. And I think, Logan, I mentioned it in my rap story Wednesday night, is that the Sabres, despite their youth, they're playing like a veteran group in the sense that they can jump out to an early lead. Maybe the game doesn't go perfect. I mean, they were heavily outshot in game one. They had a bunch of chances, but they're composed at the end of the game. They're not taking these dumb penalties, and they are shutting teams down when they're going for their final push.
So do you think, with everything that happened in the Lightning and Canadian series, 9 shots in that Game 7 to walk out, do you feel the Canadians maybe got lucky to be at this point? Or,
no, I'll put a halt to that, because
how many games does this series go? Also?
This is going to be a 7-game series.
Okay.
Talk to Marty St. Louis, the head coach of the Habs, after the game. He is cool, calm, and collected because he's got a damn good team that he's coaching. They have a lot of star players that, especially on 5v5, have not been able to get things going, and they are really, I mean, Cole Caulfield, 50 goals scored. Nick Suzuki's had 100 points. Jakub Dobeš was maybe their best player last night. I know he let in, a few goals, but really stout in net. They got lucky in Game 7 against Tampa, I'll say that. 9 shots on goal and winning a game. That's never going to happen again. I mean, you got John Cooper, the Lightning, saying the hockey god's not on their side. Montreal, this series these two teams are very similar. Two of the most highly skilled and young offensive teams, but Logan, off the rush chances are where this series is going to be won and lost, because both of these teams love the transition up and down the ice. They're young, they're fast, they can score goals. Buffalo looked like the better team in Game 1. I know they didn't have a lot of shots on goal, but I think they had about 4 or 5 different posts, a couple missed empty nets. They're a great team. Montreal is a great team. Even Sabres fans I was talking to before the game, they acknowledge that Montreal is a step up from Boston. Boston is a team that shuts you down. They don't give you anything in the neutral zone. That's Bruins hockey. That's how they've been playing now for 100 years. They don't like that flashy up and down, scoring highlight reel goals. They're a skilled team, but they're a shutdown team. Montreal is explosive. They rely on their transition. I would not be surprised if this goes Game 7. Even Sabres fans who make the playoffs for the first time in 14 years, and no disrespect, are walking around like, we're going to the Cup, we're doing this. I get you're excited, but Montreal is a great team. You got to look out for them. Logan, for so much of the spring, we couldn't go to a baseball or softball game because of all the rain, and now here we are.
I blame the weather team.
Yeah, Kelly rolls.
Just turn the machine off.
I hope Kelly's watching so she can be in our comment section again. But we have seen some incredible, especially softball matches down the stretch. You were at a pretty big one today at the time of this recording.
Yeah, title for Region 3 between Seneca and Mercyhurst Prep. Big win for Mercyhurst Prep. They win. They earn a share. They could earn the title outright, depending how the rest of the season goes. But their freshman pitcher that they had on the mound, BB, was just lights out. 13 strikeouts. Went the full 7, which is very common. But when you have Sophia Primavera on the other side for Seneca, who has a couple D1 offers stashed on her belt. But it was honestly a little bit of sloppy play for Seneca. A lot of just decisions that weren't great, not decisions that should be even thought of in a game. I'm not saying
should be instinctual.
Yes, like for example, there were a couple ground balls that you could have had someone out the bag. You try to make a bigger play and run scores, runner safe. Like there were just a couple things, and even like a few errors that just didn't go their way. I don't think Mercyhurst Prep hit the ball particularly well. I just think they had great pitching, and when you can get that from a freshman, I mean, you're not going to complain. And they even acknowledged after the game, like, Mercyhurst Prep softball has not been great. Obviously, I've only been here 2 years. They weren't great last year. Apparently, it's been a trend. They haven't been great. Their starting pitcher from the game against Seneca was like, yeah, we have people in the hallway saying they're winning. Like, they're shocked that they're winning. And the coach said, like, we're trying to change the culture. Like, we have a very young team, but just trying to change, the people's perspective on Mercyhurst Prep softball. And they're doing a pretty good job of it.
And Seneca, I know they lost Logan, but I watched them play Union City a couple days ago. Haley Farrell is a problem at the plate. In the game against Union City, she had her 100th career hit. Congratulations to her. But she also hit 3 home runs, knocked in 8 more. I mean, a lot of the Seneca softball team is girls that we covered for basketball as well. They are multi-sport athletes, and they can rate Region 3 really, really competitive. Now, we'll go over to baseball quickly because I've been working a lot of Cathedral Prep games. Yeah. They had a little bit of a rocky start, maybe not rocky start, rocky in the middle kind of slump, losing a couple games. But they have really turned things around. KJ Williams at the forefront. They've got some really good pitching as well. So we're getting into playoff baseball and softball time. We've even done a little bit of lacrosse for those watching home that love lacrosse. I played in college. I love lacrosse. But it's getting to be a fun time of spring. We're now getting into the postseason. But speaking of baseball, the Erie SeaWolves, are they back? Are they back on the championship track, Logan?
Man.
8 in a row, I think, at the time of this recording.
Yeah, I mean, they're just on an absolute tear right now. I don't know what it is, but Cap just said, like, they've just cleaned up a lot of things.
They really have.
The defense was making some silly errors to begin the season. They've cleaned that up. Their bullpen has looked like a bullpen made up of players in the minor leagues. And their bats have been going. John Peck had that stretch of 6 home runs in 6 games. Andrew Jenkins has been pretty good in certain moments at the plate as well.
PJ Exposito as well.
Yes.
He's been mashing.
I mean, he could take a ball 500 feet. I think he could smack one to couple streets over UPMC Park. But I don't want to say they're back. I don't want to give the people their hopes up and then they go on like this losing stretch and they're like, blame Logan. He said they were on a hot streak. I don't need all that. But it's nice to see because, beginning of the season, you're like, oh boy, this could be a long year.
It wasn't even uncharacteristic of the season. It was uncharacteristic of AA baseball.
Yeah.
Throwing the ball away, not playing good defense. The pitching was atrocious. Now you're getting quality starts. The bullpen has looked good. They're rattling off wins. The offense is turning up. And you can just feel the energy in the clubhouse. When we're talking to these guys post-game, there's just a tremendous feeling of camaraderie and joy in that room. And that's a powerful thing.
One player that I don't know if the stats still true or not, but over the weekend, the home series they wrapped up with the Bay Sox, Seth Stevenson had more stolen bags than hits on the year. So, like, they're being aggressive on the base paths. They're making up for, not being incredible at the plate for some of the guys. Like, if you get on, I don't care how, walk, hit by pitch, single, double, however you get on, and they're being aggressive. They're getting guys in scoring position. I think it's a matter of time until Tyrone Lorenzo gets into his groove, getting back from injury.
You've seen flashes.
Yeah.
The bat has awoken a couple times.
The bat a couple times, even just plays behind the plate, gunning runners trying to steal bags against him. It's going to be fun to watch, but also you get that feeling that some of these guys probably not going to be in Erie for the entire season. Like John Peck, I think AAA is definitely coming very soon for him.
I was actually listening to, I'm a big Rangers fan, I listened to a Rangers podcast, and these guys are both Mets fans. And for 15 minutes of this Rangers podcast, they talked about John Peck being on the hot card. And I'm like, no freaking way. Awesome. Because little do they know, here I am listening to this in Erie, PA, and I've been covering John Peck now for 2 seasons. He's been absolutely incredible. But you're right. That's the thing with a developmental league is when you're winning games, it's great, but then these guys are going to eventually move on, right? Yeah. We saw the influx of youth they had last year with Kevin McGonigal and Max Clark, and obviously McGonigal with the Tigers, Clark up in AAA. But that's what even Max Anderson going to AAA last year. So that's what happens when you win games and guys are playing really well, hitting home runs and pitching really well, they're going to eventually move on. But we've talked about baseball, we've talked about football, we've talked about hockey. Let's get to basketball and the Cleveland Cavaliers, really the whole NBA playoffs. Honestly, I'm not a big NBA guy. I don't think you're a big NBA guy, but these NBA playoffs have been pretty interesting, I think.
Yeah, I think it's been fun to watch. The West, I think Thunder are probably going to sweep the Lakers.
The Thunder may never lose a game again. I mean, they were 15.5-point favorites for game 2. Again, that's the biggest underdog that LeBron has been in his career or something like that. I mean, they are a machine.
I mean, without Luka, like, the Lakers just have zero chance against the Thunder. And the other series in the West with the Timberwolves and the Spurs, like, that could end up being a pretty good series, or Victor Wembanyama is just going to take over. And, I mean, he had a triple-double with blocks.
He is averaging 5 blocks a game. How are you supposed to score? I mean, he takes up so much space. What are you supposed to do?
I saw the one shot that Anthony Edwards was able to somehow get over him, and I was like, that had to, you know how NFL has like the extra stats of like the percentage of the dude making the catch?
Yeah.
I want to know the percentage of him making that shot.
They got to have that because they have all the Amazon stats of there was a 13.
I need to look that up.
13.1% chance he'd make this catch with 3 fingers, and he did. But and obviously our local team, the Cavs and the Pistons. Pistons take game 1. I believe they're actually leading game 2 right now. That actually might be over, so it could be a 2-0 hole for the Cavs. The Pistons with a rocky start to the playoffs. They go down 3-1 to the Magic. They have that dramatic comeback. They were the number 1 seed in the East for a region. Cade Cunningham, he's a tough guard, man.
Yeah, to think the Pistons are potentially back making another run.
NBA's better with the Pistons. The good old tough Pistons are good.
Yeah, I mean, like, it would suck to see the Cavs go down. I mean, James Harden's just been an excellent addition. I'd love to see him make it to an NBA Finals and win one. I feel like that'd really cement his legacy. But also, like, seeing the Pistons back, like, if Cade Cunningham gets to the Finals, like, that'd be pretty cool to see him get to that point. And then our other matchup in the East.
My boys.
Them New York Knicks.
Them New York Knicks.
They've been on fire, dude.
I'll hype them up a little bit. So let's go back. Let's go back to the Hawks series. They go down 2-1. Everybody's panicking, freaking out. They're not playing well. What do? They win the next 4 games by double digits, including a 51-point win in Game 6. I was watching that game. My mom called me. My mom never watches basketball. She's like, Chris, is this a video game right now? I mean, they led by as many as 61 points in the game. They were up by 47 at halftime, and this is a playoff elimination game on your home court.
Yeah,
and
that's embarrassing.
And you lose by 51. Now, Game 1 against the Sixers, they blew them out. Game 2 was a little bit closer. No Joel Embiid. I think he's going to be back in Game 3. That's a huge factor, obviously, for the 76ers. But 2 really good series in the East. I would obviously love to see my Knicks go on and maybe play the Cavs. I think that would be a fun series. They've had their battles. Maybe even Knicks Pistons. I don't know. But the NBA playoffs have been fun. I'm really enjoying the young talent. Obviously, you got LeBron still fighting for his life, but I don't know if I would consider Shea being young, but Ant Edwards is slowly starting to take over the league. Victor Wembanyama is doing incredible things. Cade Cunningham. I always love the youth in sports when they're coming in and starting a new era.
Yeah, I think it's funny for the Spurs. A lot of people had doubts about Wemby coming in because he was freakishly tall, but was built like a toothpick. Like he had no muscle mass. And then the change from rookie year to second year, like he put on a ton of muscle. You could really see like he's going all in on this. And, you know, he's going to be there for a long, long time. Anthony Edwards, I think he's just a great character.
He's got swagger. He's built for the media.
Yep.
And he's built for the playoffs.
If I had to compare him to like an NFL player, I'd say he's like Jamar Chase.
Oh yeah,
he's like a Jamar Chase. Like he's got the swag and he's gonna talk it up. No, I mean everyone's seen the clip of him with Barack Obama. He's like, I'm him. Like I'm the truth.
I'm like the former president of the United States of America, Barack. Hold my.
I'm the truth.
I'm him.
He went and got LeBron, and he's like, yeah, he's the truth. Like when you're getting that praise, I mean that's enough for me. One of my buddies from college, my roommate, he's big Cavs fan. He works at the arena. He's been working the playoff games, but he also like loves Anthony Edwards, like big Timberwolves guy also. And that's the only reason like I really started to follow Ant and realize this dude is like he's
the player that if you're not a Timberwolves fan, you're a fan of him.
Yeah,
he has
100%.
his fans that are not Timberwolves.
Yeah, 100%. And you have that in every sport. Like I think hockey, like I don't know, Connor McDavid probably is someone that a lot of people like just because how good he is.
Hockey players are too reserved. We don't have enough like badass personalities. We don't have. I mean, you have the guys who are always willing to drop the mitts and throw the body around, but we don't have guys who are walking up to people. I mean, Connor McDavid's one of the most humble people on planet.
He's so quiet.
He's this quiet superstar. We need more people who walk up and are like, I guess that's just basketball. It's just more of like, you're not casual is not the right word, but everybody plays basketball, grows up. Not everybody plays hockey, so there's more of a community.
I was gonna say basketball is like you can go anywhere, gym, park, you can find people playing basketball. Hockey just you gotta know how to skate to play.
And it's tough. All right, we got a couple minutes left. I think we'd be remiss, and John Leidig would be very upset if we did not mention Paul Skeens just continues to be I mean, what is this?
He's incredible, dude.
The sub-2 ERA and how there are hundreds of stats. John talking about he should just own part of the city of Pittsburgh as part of his contractual agreement. But the Pirates, Logan, they continue to play well. The free agent additions continue to play well. They sweep the Reds. They've now won 2 against the Diamondbacks at this time of the recording. They have really looked great, and the NL unfortunately is loaded with guys. The American League is terrible. My Yankees and the Rays are the only 2 teams above 500 right now. The NL is loaded, but the Pirates continue to impress.
Yeah, as long as they can start keeping the bats consistent. I mean, Paul Skeens going out and getting 1 run of support, like it's got to be PTSD for Pirates fans from last year. So, but the ERA, the fact it's where it's at, and he's had like this opening day where he let up 5 in his first inning pitch. Like the fact he can have those big games of runs given up and still have one of the lowest ERAs of all time, like that's just insane. It's absolutely crazy.
It's an exciting time to be a Pirates fan. And I do mean that seriously. The free agent guys have played well. Pirates fans deserve it. Paul Skeens, he might own part of Pittsburgh soon if John Leidig were in charge.
Yeah, I think Bob Nutting should give him at least half the bridges in Pittsburgh.
I mean, seriously, this kid is unreal. But
Paul Skeens Bridge, it's coming. It's coming.
He's gonna have a street or some kind of statue by the time he's done with Pittsburgh, as long as they sign him to a contract. But thank you all for tuning in to episode 10 of the 814 Sports Report. We'll be back next week with more local content.